Hello, how's it going? It's episode 35 of the fAnaticZ podcast.
Whoop,
And
whoop.
I'm Damien.
What's up? You already know it's
Frankie.
Dylan. So
And we have a
Frankie.
very special guest with us today. I actually work with him at Planet Fitness, and he has his own channel, Off the Glass with Jack. Jack Ritter is going to be joining us today to talk little Arizona sports as well as preview the NBA Finals. How's it going, Jack?
I'm doing great, man. How you guys doing today?
Great.
Doing great.
chilling, man, chilling.
Awesome, man.
Well-
Thank you for having me on, dude. I really appreciate this.
Welcome,
Yeah.
dude. It's nice
Absolutely,
to have you
man.
on, bro.
First ever guest honor. So
I appreciate that, dude. It means a
Hell
lot
yeah.
for this. I've
Hell
been
yeah.
waiting for a while, so it's about time.
hell yeah.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
came on a good week, too. There's so much happening in just sports in Arizona and just sports in general. And right now, the hot thing is Jordan Ott. So without further ado, let's get into the Phoenix Suns, guys. Jordan Ott was weirdly selected, was between this 15 candidate coaching search, and it narrowed down to the two Cavs assistants, and we finally got our guy, MSU video coordinator. Cleveland Cavs assistant coach Jordan Ott.
Dude, Spartans all around.
There's a lot off of that. I mean, Sarver or not Sarver, freaking Ishbia made a statement yesterday how he tried to run the original ownership thing where he tried to hire all the experts and all that, and simply it just didn't work out. So basically he kind of knows it's not really a favorable hire, but really it's just all MSU ties really. So I don't know really how to feel on that one. So
See, and my thing is, it's just don't get me wrong, it's a great hire if you take the MSU thing out of the equation. And that's basically what everybody's just looking at right now because of the connection. But honestly, with guys that Ott has developed, it really isn't an awful hire. It's just there's too much state in our front office.
I don't even think. Well, go ahead, Jack. You haven't even said anything yet. Let's get Jack in there.
I mean, I'm not too knowledgeable the Phoenix Suns in general. Overall, though, I know that he did really well with Cleveland overall. Just seeing how they performed at everything this season, just seeing how they finished the first seed in the East. I think it's the first time they finished first in the East since LeBron James. So the fact that they were able to do that and kind of have that bounce back. It's interesting to see the direction you guys are going because this is your fourth or fifth coach you guys have had in the last 5 years?
we are fourth.
Fourth, yeah, it's a lot of coaching.
Yeah.
As a Pistons fan, I understand how you guys feel about Monty Williams, so suffering through that for a little bit. But I'm just gonna see the path you guys take. I mean, I'm sure you guys will dive back into it more, but just the route you guys are gonna go this summer, especially with the whole Kevin Durant talk and everything that I've been hearing recently too.
Yeah, KD is definitely going to be on the blog. And let me just quote some of the letter that Matt Ishbia wrote, kind of outlining the direction we're going to go in, because we're going to go in a very Matt Ishbia-led direction. He said, I will be extremely active, and I'm quoting right now, I will be extremely active in the decisions and the management of this organization on and off the floor. While I won't be reviewing film, designing offenses, or running the draft room, I will be deeply involved in ensuring that basketball operations, like every other area of our organization, is performing at the highest level.
So how do you guys feel about that as Phoenix diehards?
I'm scared. That's scary stuff.
I mean, it's honestly still Sarver vibes. Honestly, it's nothing different. The difference is Ishbia is willing to throw more money around.
Yeah,
But
I was
not-
gonna say it's
but-
basically he wants all hands control, but he kind of says different. So it's kind of interesting. I mean, like I said, I'm willing to give Jordan Ott a look because he is a known developer of good talent. He's worked with Joe Harris, he's worked with D'Angelo Russell, and he's helped develop, Mobley in Cleveland. So I'm willing to give him a look. Maybe he can make, develop Richards into that same type of center.
I don't know, man. I don't know about people developing at that stage of their career, and with the coaching carousel that we got going on, and with new coaches. And I just think it's time to start back over at this point. We've gotten to the point where it's New York is very interested in Kevin Durant, and Cat is Devin Booker's homie. They're really good friends, so maybe we can get some of their depth players, because they got some hustle depth players, and maybe a pick or two from them, because they got a couple high picks that maybe we can grab. So I think it's time to start thinking about that.
I don't want Karl-Anthony Towns. I want a refund. Where's Mikal Bridges? I want him back.
Well, the thing about
Like, for real.
Jack, I feel like you want to say something. Jump in, bro.
Yeah, just like when Frank and I were talking the other day, I know like he was mentioning like the thing that Dylan was mentioning about with Mikal Bridges and everything too. Just like it'd be like in a dream world, like being able to get rid of Kevin Durant, being able to get both like Karl-Anthony Towns and Mikal Bridges. I think the Knicks though, like considering how they just fell in 6 games, like they're more of like in a win now position. And I know Kevin Durant, like he's still like when he's like on his game, he's still arguably the best American-born player. I'd probably put him second to Steph overall in that category, but he's still easily top 10 player. He can still give you 30 a night. If you have that paired with Brunson, like they'd be easily one of the favorites to make out the East. And the return you guys could get with that in general could be huge. Like you guys could like you get Karl-Anthony Towns, like you said, him and Booker have that good relationship together. Especially playing they were in Kentucky at the same time, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, so having that work out well, like we saw how the Knicks are doing with like the whole Villanova squad. So having that teammate chemistry could be huge for them. And then also I did see like earlier today that like the Suns like reportedly like are trying to look to move on from Bradley Beal, which I mean if you're able to, that's great because considering how much of a bag that man is. I think that's the game to go because it was just a few years ago you guys in the NBA Finals, and Devin Booker is still I think one of the more underappreciated players in the league. He's had great moments. He's capable of scoring. I just think since they've had the trio of him, Durant, and Bradley Beal, since they're all ball heavy, they're not able to use like their talents like the best way possible. Versus like if you have Cat who can also dominate off the ball and kind of give you what Mikal Bridges did with like a big man that can also shoot from the outside, like that'll help you guys out a lot.
Yeah, I like Cat. And it would be Cat, a pick, and maybe like a Miles McBride or someone of that caliber. It couldn't be a Bridges because Bridges just makes too much money.
Yeah, like Jack said, I'm dreaming, but I'm not opposed to Karl-Anthony Towns either. So I love Cat. But we still have 2 other centers. What are we gonna do with the other 2, you know? So
well,
I think we could play both of them, Nick Richards and Cat. You know, if we're not gonna have Kevin Durant get a real 3, someone that's like an Aaron Gordon type, Michael Porter Jr. type of guy, you know, that can be offensive but also is like a good 2-way player. Book and then Tyus Jones or whoever at point guard, and we can make a good run with that team. Maybe even get D'Lo since we can complete the D'Lo, Cat, and Booker dream. All 3 of them always wanted to play together. So
I mean, why not?
Plumlee's got to go.
Revolving door of a franchise.
Yeah, I was a fan of holding on to Kevin Durant, but the more I hear and the more I'm looking around the league, he's not going to be on the team. So the real thing is we got to figure out what the hell to do with Bradley Beal.
Yeah,
I don't think he wants to go anywhere.
That bag is huge. Like even ever since you guys signed him, I was upset with that because just originally seeing like Chris Paul, like the original trio of like Chris Paul, Kevin Durant, and Devin Booker, like that never got to actually play out because in the playoffs when the first you guys had KD, Chris Paul got hurt like one of the first few games in, and like they pushed the Nuggets to 6 games even without him. Like that was really the only team that really gave them a struggle all series long. Like even they ended up smacking the Lakers, beat the Heat, and the Timberwolves, but like the Suns like actually made that series competitive without Chris Paul being fully healthy.
I always say that.
That's
the move that killed us right there was Chris Paul because he feels 2-3 needs simultaneously. Like the coaching need, he feels a part of that. He feels a part of the point guard need, and he feels the calming you down, veteran presence. That's just everybody's gonna know what to do, who to look to, and he sets the offense. We haven't had that since Chris Paul, and before we haven't had that since Nash. So we need someone like that.
I mean, I personally feel like we did all right when he wasn't available half the time when he wasn't. Campaign did all right filling his shoes, so I feel like we could have lived without Chris Paul. I feel like what truly killed us was Cam Johnson, Mikal Bridges. So
yeah, I mean the depth, we had good depth, but I just think that from a discipline standpoint, the lead's blown and just a weird like disconnection. Like we were so much more of a connected basketball team when we had Chris Paul and those other guys as well. Maybe they just knew they were a good team. And that just helps you, love the guys around you. And I mean, a lot of that is coaching too. Willie Green, look what he did with the Pelicans. And Monty Williams was good friends with Willie and Chris Paul in their personal lives. So I'm sure that they were more receptive to like, hey, coach, this needs to happen, that needs to happen. As of being a random player, it's one of your best friends in your life, So
Right.
I don't know. That group was special, and we ruined it. Well, Matt Ishbia ruined it.
No, absolutely. I'm still so upset about that because like Chris Paul's one of those players. So you said like his veteran leadership, and like even though like he's gotten older and stuff, he's not like as athletic as he was with the Pelicans or Clippers. Like he's still able to dominate a game. Like he's still able to facilitate. He even had that game against the Pelicans where he went like 14 to 14 from the field, which is like the most makes in an NBA playoff game without a miss. Like he was still giving that to you like in his late 30s, and just being able to. He doesn't like just being able to facilitate the offense and then being able to have both Kevin Durant or Devin Booker to dish the ball out to. Like, I don't know, man. Just I think it's a missed opportunity, though.
For sure.
Super missed.
Yeah, the proof is in the pudding with Chris Paul. He did it with the Thunder. He did it with the Suns. Any team he goes to, they get better. So,
man, he was underrated in that Thunder team, bro. He carried those guys. Oh my gosh.
How do you guys feel about the Michigan State connection? Do you think it's overblown? Are people making too much of that?
I feel like to make things a little better, I at least learned today that not only was Devin Booker in very on the Ott hiring, but I guess Steve Nash was also very complimentary and recommending of Ott to be the next coach. So having at least one of your all-time franchise greats in your corner, and vouching for the hire and the guy that we bring in, at least it makes it a little bit more positive than it's being spun at.
So he already has familiarity with Katie. That's interesting.
Yeah. I mean, it seems like he has a good relationship with people. And but what Shams Charania reported today or yesterday was that a Suns KD trade is coming soon. And when they were doing the interviews, that they were talking like KD wasn't going to be a member of the team anymore. So it'll be interesting. I kind of don't like that. I got a KD jersey. I was invested in him being in the city for a long time.
I didn't mean to jinx it, my bad.
It's all good.
Because you remember me pointing and I was like, let's hope.
To answer my own original question, no. The MSU stuff, there's something to it, but I don't know if it's necessarily negative because I guess there's two sides of the coin because if everybody's on the same page and everybody knows what each other likes, like it's not like Jordan Ott and Matt Ishbia went to school together or anything like that. They just both went to that school. They don't know each other like personally outside of that. So, but if they have similar mindsets, maybe we can get on the same page faster and do a faster turnaround. Or maybe it's a bunch of yes men and it gets worse and worse and worse as time goes by.
I feel like it's going to be more the positive side of the coin, honestly. It's just going to take some time to get used to. And at least, for the most part, as much as we do have Michigan State in the house, at least Michigan State, for like the last couple of decades, has had a pretty, consistent culture of winning.
Yeah, just adding on to that a little bit too. Like, I know like there's like the controversy about like the association and everything there, but I know Devin Booker actually has a good relationship with Tom Izzo. Like he originally wanted to go to Michigan State to play basketball, so it always still like has like communications with Izzo, and Izzo is someone that is constant talking with alumni, has great relationships with like his former players, former staff. So I don't think it's just Matt Ishbia. I feel like Devin Booker was also in on this as well, just because I think you guys are truly trying to still build around him. Like, while I do believe Katie's gone this offseason, especially after like the trade deadline hit and the rumors were that they were looking for people to trade Kevin Durant to. I think that he'll be gone. They're still trying to build around Devin Booker. And so I don't think that Ishbia would make a decision without like Devin Booker's approval. I feel like there's like probably was a little bit of communication behind the scenes, but that could just be my take. But just when I've seen like in interviews and how Devin Booker said that like he has that relationship with Tom Izzo, I believe he probably played a factor into this as well.
No doubt. Do you think that Brian Gregory is gonna now start piping up and make a move now that we got the coach? Because that's all he said that he was waiting for, really, right? It was to they're like, are you gonna do this with the players? Are you gonna do that with the players? And he was like, well, we don't still have a head coach, so we got to worry about that first. You guys think he's gonna be an active GM or he's just gonna be chilling?
I mean, I think he's gonna be active because he has to be. If they're committed to turning this thing around. Unfortunately, Kevin Durant is that movable piece. You can't, I mean, right now as it stands, you can't move anything regarding Beal's contract at all. So unfortunately, Kevin Durant's that guy. And I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if it was before, but I wouldn't be surprised if, you saw the trade happen on draft night.
I could very well see that being the case. I know Shams recently said that, like, I think it was on NBA Today. Maybe I'm wrong on that, but he said that to expect this to be like arguably the wildest offseason in NBA history. And like I said, I think Durant's gone. And as much as that has to be painful for you guys, as a Pistons fan, I've never seen us have a caliber of that player, like one of the greatest players of all time. Like I wouldn't say like his ultimate prime, but he's still one of the best players in the world. However, though, unless you're an idiot like Nico Harrison, you're going to get a lot of value back for him. Like, you are going to be able to get some draft capital and some solid talent if you trade Kevin Durant. Like, he is worth he's worth a lot. And like, I still can't believe like Luka only got Anthony Davis, like Max Christie back for that. But if they're able to play it smart, and especially if you're trying to prove it, like as new head coach, like the new GMs and everything, you will be able to get a lot back from it. Especially, like I said, if you're trying to prove that like you belong here and you're trying to be aggressive, considering like Phoenix is kind of like in no man's land right now, you're going to want to make that move and get as much back as possible.
They miraculously got the number 1 pick. Still crazy to me.
That's insane. Like, Nico makes the Luka trade, and then he basically backs into a freaking gold mine again.
Yep. Yeah. So
who knows? Maybe our GM can get as lucky as Nico.
Oh no, man. We had some pretty extreme.
I feel like what we get back in return for KD is going to make or break how this offseason is going to go.
Facts.
That's just me, though.
That's our next 5 years, dude. Because
of the night.
And honestly, it's true because of what we gave up to get him. We gave up so much to get KD.
We blew it up in less than 5 years.
Yeah, we didn't even get to the Western Conference Finals after that.
We got progressively worse every single year.
Which is why I'm so shocked you guys got rid of Chris Paul so fast, especially for Bradley Beal. I scratched my head when that news first broke, and I still scratching my head today.
It was the availability to me.
Situation was so bad. It was just
I feel like it was just.
What?
Sorry, I feel like it was just the availability part, especially in the playoffs and finals. Dude was like never there especially when we needed him the most, repetitively too. I feel like that was just the reason. I know we got there because of him, but we just need him available, which he never was. So,
see, the thing is though, Ishbia just came into the building. He saw that, hey, I'm gonna change the fact that the previous owner, basically never paid for shit. Unless it was, every once in a while, he's like, I'm going to do a little nice. But then again, he got a little too aggressive, traded the wrong guy for the really wrong guy. And then now we're stuck with an anchor at the bottom of an ocean.
Yeah, it's your biggest problem right there.
Yeah. I wouldn't mind trading Chris Paul and figuring something else out that doesn't lock the team. Like, even if they got Bradley Beal, they should have made him waive that no trade clause. That was the only thing that killed us.
Absolutely.
That no trade clause was like, all right, if you're going to experiment, don't experiment in a situation where if the experiment goes wrong, you're now held hostage.
Literally. Because, I mean, of all the NTCs in NBA history, like, no disrespect to Beal because he's a great player, especially when he's healthy, but there are very few NTCs in history, and there's no way he should have been one of them.
Yeah.
His agent got a massive raise on that one.
Oh, yeah. His agent's the GOAT.
For sure.
Like,
he's driving Bugattis.
So did.
Bradley Beal gave him that nice 20% tip probably, too. It's like, thanks. So.
But let's assume that we're trading Kevin Durant. It makes me sad, but it also kind of makes me excited for players like Ryan Dunn and Oso Ighodaro and, Bol Bol maybe to get more run with the new squad because I feel like right now in the NBA, teams like the Wolves, the Thunder, they don't really have too many all superstar Devin Bookers and Kevin Durant. It's just a bunch of Jalen Williams and a bunch of Nickeil Alexander-Walkers. We need more of those type of guys. So hopefully we can develop our youngins and have a timeline that makes sense instead of being in constant win now mode.
The one thing. Sorry, Jack. Go ahead, bro.
You're good. I just think like that's like the future of the NBA. Like just looking, this is the first time in NBA history we're going to see 7 years in a row of 7 different champions. Like, it no longer is what it was about like 10, 15 years ago where it was dominated by the superstars. Like, if you look at it now, it's more about a cohesive team that's able to work all together and being able to exploit like those mismatches that you're able to find and stuff. So I think if you guys are able to prioritize just getting like a team that can all buy in together and just be able to develop that young talent, that's the best way to go. Like, we've clearly seen the last few years, like with the exception of the 23 like Nuggets and stuff, like your best player hasn't been in the championship. Like, as great as SGA is, I don't think he's the best player in the world, but they're in the finals. The Celtics last year, I don't think Jason Tatum or Jaylen Brown were the best player on the planet, but they ended up being the most dominant team. And I think that's the route the NBA is going in, especially now with you seeing like both OKC and Indiana making the finals.
100%. Because I mean, you see guys. You see squads that have basically been, or have took their time, either added the right pieces over time or developed what they had, and they didn't make the finals with some superstar cast. They had maybe one or two guys that have heavy notoriety, and then the rest of them are just role players that have great chemistry. They work together, and then that's why you see them in the finals. And this is, starting to prove that, the Big Three era is pretty much dead. And you saw that with the Bucks with Lillard as well.
Yeah, that's a great example right there. You're absolutely right.
So the Suns definitely need to not only nail the trade in return what they get for KD, but they also need to do some really deep homework on their draft picks, because these picks are going to be part of our core for the next 5+ years.
Yeah, they have to get some draft picks first.
We didn't really get any off of James Jones, really. So
I mean, we still got number 29, so I feel like KD we're at least going to get one more coming back.
Yeah, I think we're gonna trade with New York. Something tells me that the Knicks, KD will go to New York, Cat will come here. We'll get the 14th overall pick, and a player that isn't that good.
Yeah. Damien, I'm with you 100%. For some reason, I'm just envisioning Kevin Durant in a New York jersey. Like, it just, I don't know, it just makes sense in my eyes. I just see like the blue New York came next to Jalen Brunson. Like, it just makes sense. And I would love to see Devin Booker and Cat team up once again. Like, I really do think they'd work out really well together. And that'd be really exciting. And honestly, like, I know while Kevin Durant is a better player than Karl-Anthony Towns, I think the Suns are better poised for success if they're to get Cat instead of Kevin Durant.
Me too.
So we lost out on Mikal. So we lost out on Mikal Bridges and KD. Ouch.
Well, if Mikal Bridges and KD end up on the same team, that will be crazy.
Yeah.
God.
More salt to the wound, right?
No. It's because he's coming back. He's not going to be he's not going to be playing with. He's going to be coming back.
Dude, if they were able to
in a dream world.
If they were able to move the salaries and match the salaries, what would we have to do? Like send out Grayson Allen or Royce O'Neal or something, maybe?
One of those deals.
Maybe they could get Mikal back if they added some players.
I don't know. Grayson didn't really do much last season, really.
I would. Hey, if I had to choose between Grayson and Royce right now, I'd keep Royce.
Yeah, right. Same. I get rid of Grayson.
No matter what coach we've had, at least Royce has stayed mainly consistent. I feel like, but then again, with a lot of the team last year, I just feel like the mood that Budenholzer had, especially towards the end of the year, just kind of deflated everybody's mentality. And I think Ott's going to come in and clean that up.
Yeah, I think coaches that win championships develop egos and stop listening to the players and assistants around them. And they're like, no, this system works. Believe me, I won a championship. We're not going to play more players like Tom Thibodeau. Or we're not going to make the rotations different and play ball like Frank Vogel or
Budenholzer.
Yeah,
look at Doc Rivers. We're going to get a 2008 championship.
Yeah.
Bol is going to feast with Ott. Calling this now.
Let's hope, man.
I mean, shoot, you're on point with your Rockies pick this week. So, I mean,
I'm dead.
Did you guys see
they finally won their first series, y'all?
The day they won their first game, I just took a shot to a wind on X, and I was like, the Rockies are going to win a game today. And then the next day, I was like, the Rockies are going to win the series. And then they ended up sweeping it.
Jeez. Imagine getting swept by the Rockies this far into the
almost as crazy as your Carolina call with their pick'ems.
Draft.
Yeah.
That's so funny. You know what else is crazy? The NBA Finals, dude.
Yo.
We
the
touched on it a
finals
little
hit
bit.
upon us.
Yep. Game 1
Yep.
tonight, man. I'm so excited. I'm so ready for this.
Me too. I'm like literally about to get some food and sit down and watch it. And
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Absolutely.
watch
be
the
so
Pacers prove the whole world wrong.
Pacers, I don't know. I've been on the OKC train. I've been saying it every week. So
The Pacers were my pick, and I'm gonna stick with them to win the championship.
I mean,
I know that's crazy talk, but we can be a little crazy sometimes. Even if it doesn't work out, at least we shot for the stars. You know, Tyrese Halliburton feels special to me this year. It feels like he doesn't want to lose. You know.
Oh no,
He's got the
especially
chip on his
you
shoulder,
get
man.
called out.
He got voted as the NBA's most overrated player, and he's honestly put together one of the most impressive postseasons I've ever seen.
So
like
impressive,
the
dude.
simple fact he's had a game winner every series. I mean, it was a game tying shot against the Knicks, but just the level of difficulty of some of these shots too. Like the one he hit against the Cavs was impressive, but the one against the Knicks, you can say like it hit the backboard or whatever, or hit the back of the rim and bounced in, but just being able to have the guts to pull off that shot and being able to knock it down, and just it seems like every time they need to play, he's put it together. Like he also just put together the first triple-double in NBA history, playoff history, with 15
With no
assists.
turnovers.
Like that's
Yeah.
absolutely ridiculous. Like being
Yeah.
able to peak those numbers, like the fact that like players like Magic Johnson or Larry Bird couldn't accumulate that stat, or even like Nikola Jokic, like those guys
Or Michael Jordan.
not turning the
Like
ball
Jordan,
over. Even they
LeBron.
couldn't get what Tyrese Halliburton just did. Like
Yeah.
he's coming up big every single time they need him to. And like this team, like as a Pistons fan, one of my favorite teams of all time is of course the 04 Pistons. And they're famous for just like buying as a team. They didn't have like any superstar player. And the Pacers remind me a lot of those guys, except they're not as dominant defensively. They're more of an offensive, fast-paced team.
I love it. That's a great assessment. And also, the thing about Tyrese Halliburton's performance that was even more important to me is they would be down, and this man would go on like 8 to 9 point runs by himself and will his team back into the game, and then hit the game-winning shot or send it to overtime. Like that's
The last time I saw that type of energy, T-Mac was scoring. T-Mac was burying the Spurs in 30 seconds.
Yeah, good old Tracy McGrady, dude.
Andrew
I love
Nemhart.
Tracy McGrady. One of my
shit.
favorite players of all time.
my bad.
Dude,
A call came through.
Oh, no worries, man. But back to like what you were kind of saying with like Halliburton and everything, like especially if I go back to like the game one against the Knicks. I remember watching that game. I came back from a shift actually working with Frankie, and I had the game on my phone. Well, I came back, and there was about like 4 minutes left in the game, and the Knicks were up by like 12 points at this point. And I learned my lesson because I turned off game 2 against the Cavs where the Pacers mounted that comeback, and then Halliburton hit the game winner. So I'm like, you know what? This is the one team where I never know what's going to happen. And what I witnessed the next 2.5 minutes of game time was in my opinion, the greatest comeback in modern NBA history, especially like in the playoffs. Like they could not miss. It seemed like every shot, every call, like went their way, all the little things. And like you said with Halliburton, like even when he wasn't hitting the shots, he was finding the open man. He was finding Andrew Nemhart open on the wing, just making that right play and knowing when to pass, knowing when to score, and just being able to have the threat of that doability. Like that's going to throw defenses off. And like, I'm really excited to see what he does with this Thunder team because the Thunder have one of the greatest defenses of all time if you look at it statistically. So, I mean, I know there's a lot of people out there complaining. It's like, oh, it's going to be like a blowout and stuff for just two small market teams. But I think it's going to be one of the better finals we're going to witness tonight.
I was going to say, people complained back in 01 when it was the Suns and the Bucks. But, I mean, even though we lost in 6, the series, 1-6 was super entertaining.
Absolutely. To this day, like, I've been watching the finals since 2015. And that is one of the more underrated. Like I'm going to say the most underrated one because like that one never gets brought up like in all-time conversations. But the momentum swings and especially like how tight games 4 and 5 were towards the end, like it was electric. The energy there was insane, and like you could feel the energy through the screen of all those games. And this was also during COVID too, like when the capacity wasn't even at max, so you still felt the energy through the screen.
Yeah, no doubt, man. It's good. It's good for the people that don't know anything but big flashy markets to watch these two teams because they're not boring. They don't have boring play styles. Like Indiana's gonna push it, and the Thunder could match that pace or do a half court defense to, kind of get in their way. So I'm pretty excited about the series. I'm excited to see new stars be born on both teams because we don't know how far SGA can go. We don't know how far Halliburton and Siakam can go. So I'm excited.
I mean, either way, you got in the playoffs the entire, when you take from the first series to now, Halliburton has been almost averaging 20 and 10. And then you got SGA, who's been averaging almost 30 and 10. So you got guys that are going to not only score them for themselves, set their teams up. We're going to see a lot of fun basketball. And then something's going to give because you have the Pacers have 6 guys in the playoffs that have averaged double figures all the way through, whereas you have Oklahoma City, who only has 3, but all the way down their line, their bench is deeper, and you have guys that they don't have all the double figures guys, but you got 5 or 6 guys that are coming in and giving you 6-8 points a game.
Well, the thing about OKC is, no offense to the Eastern Conference, OKC had to play defensive killer after defensive killers. So Chet Holmgren and all those players weren't getting off like they're going to be able to get off against smaller or slower defenders with Indiana, because Indiana doesn't play as good a defense as maybe the teams they face, like the Timberwolves and stuff like that. So it'll be interesting to see how Chet Holmgren and Williams, because Williams will go off, every other game, every 3 games, but maybe he'll be able to consistently body more in this series. And Chet will definitely be able to body more in this series. Miles Turner is good, but I don't know if he's going to be able to stop, rim protect. He's not like a rim protecting big. He's more of like a 3-point shooting floor spacer.
Here is my key. If you're the Oklahoma City Thunder and you want to win your first NBA title, Alex Caruso is going to be your key defender. If he can lock it down, if he can do his job, I think the Thunder can win the series. If they have him locked on Halliburton, or whoever, if he keeps his assignment, I think he's going to be one of the biggest keys to the Oklahoma City Thunder winning a title.
Yeah, when he's locked.
Looking at their second series against the Denver Nuggets, that's the team that pushed them the furthest. And besides the Thunder, I think they're the best team in the West. They literally gave them all they got. And in that critical Game 7, Caruso absolutely locked down Nikola Jokic, even though Jokic has nearly half a foot on him. He was getting constant steals, setting up the fast breaks and everything. So I'm with you 100% on if Caruso was able to do that. And another factor is he's already been here before. Even though it was the bubble, he already has that championship experience. So he's already has that in mind. He's going to be the guy that some of these players look to. Even SGA, Chet Holmgren, Jalen Williams, they're going to look to him for that championship experience and be what does it take? What's it like once you get on the stage? So he's going to help them prepare for that intensity. I know Pascal Siakam on the other side who also has that experience, but the fact that they also have a guy on the team who is familiar with winning a championship and knows what it takes, that's going to be huge. And the fact that Caruso was mentored by LeBron James, who's one of the greatest players of all time and made it to 8 straight finals, there's no better guy you can have that can carry down that knowledge to the team.
100%.
For sure.
And they got Lou Dort, who's going to be clamping people up too.
Man. Their team, they're so stacked.
They're so defensively stacked. It's going to be tough. Got to get him in foul trouble though. We got to get him in foul trouble early, and then that's how Indiana has to win. They got to run and get him in foul trouble a bunch.
I think NBA wants it to be a 6 or 7 game series.
For sure.
Cool. I would love for it to be, and I think it's going to be a 7-game series.
Really? Okay.
Wow.
Okay.
And here's the thing. Each team's going to win a game on the road.
I don't think that's crazy to say, especially seeing how the playoffs have shaped out so far. And Indiana, this was going to be the really interesting part because all 3 of Indiana's first 3 series, they've had an insane comeback in the last minute. There was some stat where it said teams that were trailing by 7 or more in the final minute are 4 and 1,700 over the last 27 years. And Indiana has 3 of those wins this postseason alone. And then on the other side, OKC already has the most 30-point playoff wins in NBA history by any postseason team, and they've only played 3 rounds. So if OKC goes up by, let's say, 30 in one of these games, I'm interested to see what happens because all postseason, Indiana's defied the odds, and they've ended up coming back and winning those, while OKC is the one team that's actually held on to those leads. So it's going to be really interesting to see if something like that happens.
For sure. I can't wait to see the point differential and how it actually shakes out for sure.
Oh, me too, man. There's so much on the line, too. This is going to be awesome. I'm so excited.
Dylan?
What?
You over there Dylan? You got anything to throw on it?
No, I said the NBA wants to push it to a 6 or 7 game series.
That's true. And you know what? A lot of people are saying that the Pacers don't really have a chance, and That's never how it goes down. That's
They've
never
been
how it
saying
goes
that all
down.
playoffs, though. Everybody's doubted Indiana from the start, and all they've done is, shatter expectations.
Yeah, and even I've never seen a series play out like that. Even when they're a heavily favored team, they never just in the NBA Finals. They never just blow the doors off of them. I remember I think there was San Antonio and Cleveland. They were just like blow each other out. One team would be the other by 20. One team would be the other by 20. It's like, what the hell?
I don't think
It's
it's
a
gonna be like
moment
that
you got to
though.
be ready to play in. It's more than
I
I
just
think
this
more
team is
than
better
not
than
the
that
game
team.
close.
I don't think it's gonna be like that. I feel like each game is gonna be decided by like 6 points or less.
Wow.
So
Ooh,
I
I
think
think it's
there's
gonna
going to
be
be
neck
at
and
least
neck.
one or two games that just get out of hand.
I think so too. Like even 2016, which is regarded by many as like arguably the greatest finals of all time, that even had its fair share of blowouts. Like I know, like game 3 was an absolute blowout, and then games 1 and 2, or game 6 was actually games 1 through 3 were blowouts, and then game 6 was a blowout as well. So I'm with you on that. I feel like most finals have at least like one of those games, like a team's clearly the superior one in either that matchup. Like even game 5 in 2017, when the Warriors were way better than the Cavs ended up having like a 35-point win in game 4. It was like one of the biggest lopsided victories in NBA Finals history, even though they lost the series in 5.
Yeah, I think it's just like you travel, you get tired, the other team doesn't take you seriously anymore. Like we just stomped these guys out 3 times. Like, what are we doing? They're gonna beat us, and then they're like, "Yeah, we actually are. We're gonna murder you guys."
I look at it
And
this way: no matter what happens, if somebody goes up 2-0, they need to look to the past, look to the 2021 Suns, and realize 2-0 doesn't mean shit. You still have to keep your foot on the gas.
yeah, it's not over till it's over. Anything can happen in the finals. Like I'm working on a video right now that'll come out either tomorrow or Saturday, where I'm talking about the biggest upsets, the most unpredictable runs in NBA Finals history. And even in my Finals preview, like I kind of addressed a little bit about that. Like you never know what's going to happen, and like while you can look at the analytics is one thing, like you got to be prepared for the championship. It's not just one game; it's a 7-game series, but anything can happen. The slightest bit of momentum, stuff changes like that. There's so many instances in history, like if Draymond doesn't smack LeBron's jewels, like they probably win in 2016. Like there's sort of like little what ifs and everything that go on.
Oh yeah, dude, the Raptors winning the championship is riddled with those little what ifs. Like, what if Clay doesn't get hurt? What if KD doesn't get hurt? What if that shot doesn't bounce in Philadelphia in the semis?
What if Kawhi doesn't leave Toronto?
Exactly.
So many I could make so many what if videos. There's so many that I can dive into.
Speaking of that, Jack, so what kind of content do you do?
So I mainly surround myself with basketball. It's what I'm most knowledgeable about. I do dive in like to a little bit of football, but I've been an NBA diehard ever since around like 2016. I remember watching Kobe Bryant's final game, and like I was just hooked on the NBA like that. Like that's why he's my favorite player to this day and my favorite athlete. And he's been an inspiration to me. Like even not even just with basketball, just with life in general. Just like the amount of wisdom and perseverance that man had, just chasing the best version of himself. Like that's something I try to apply in every aspect of life. And even kind of like through this YouTube channel, like just trying to get myself better in every video that I put out. Mainly do NBA content. Like I still try and keep up with like the current trends. So obviously I just put out a video talking about the NBA finals. All through the playoffs, I've been highlighting like different games, giving different recaps and my thoughts on certain games, different predictions, and a little bit of other content, like I said, coming out. Like I have the one video that will be coming out about the like greatest upsets in playoff history and the most unpredictable runs, as well as I have one of role players coming up big, because I think there's a lot of players out there that don't get like the certain respect they deserve. Because when you win a championship, you always have like, the big name players like, it's LeBron, or it's Jordan or Kobe. And like at the end of the day, it does take a team collectively buying in, and just seeing some of these performances that like aren't really talked about in general, like without them coming up big, like they don't win those championships. And I think it's an overlooked aspect for some of the championship teams. So mainly NBA, probably also throw out a fun facts video out there, and some of these what ifs I could really see myself diving deeper into. So if you guys ever have any topics or any suggestions, let me know, because I'm just a basketball savant. I love everything about the game. It's literally saved my life. It's something I will always forever love.
Awesome. We're going to throw all your links in the description. So if you guys want to rock with Jack on this channel, that'll be in the description with the rest of the stuff. And I love what you said about the role players that don't get their just due. Let's say the Thunder win the championship. Who do you think that role player would be in this series?
I think Frankie said him earlier. I think it's going to be Alex Caruso. I just think like the fact he's able to come off the bench, he's got that determination with him. He's got that he's got like that intensity with him, that championship experience. Like I said earlier, with the defense that he had on Jokic, he's able to guard the bigger guys. So you could put him on Miles Turner. You could have him guard Halliburton, and he will give him a tough time regardless, seeing how he's able to poke the ball and get those steals. He's going to provide good shooting. I really feel like them trading for Alex Caruso for Josh Giddey with the Bulls is probably one of the more even trades I've seen recently. Both teams have seen the benefit greatly from that. I definitely feel like he'd be a player to look out for. Another one, I can see Jalen Williams having a sneaky series because it took him really until like halfway through the Nuggets series before like he really started to find his gear. But just seeing how he can guard any position 1 through 5 and seeing how he's improved as a second scoring option to Shea. I don't think he'd win Finals MVP. I still think SGA would probably walk away with that award. But I think it'd be something similar to how like Kobe was to Shaq or how Steph Curry was to KD, where like he deserves his props. And if he was playing like with anyone else, he'd be winning Finals MVP. But just I could still see like someone like Jalen Williams averaging something like 22, 8, and 6 throughout a series. So I think he'd be huge too. But if I had to pick like the one role player that will come up big, I could see it being Alex Caruso. That'd be my pick.
Yeah, I would say Chet, but I don't know if I can call. I guess in the way he's been in this playoffs, he's been a role player mostly more than anything. But I feel like Chet has to come up big this series. He's got to turn into Mr. Pac-Man and just he doesn't even have to go crazy with points. Just give me 3 blocks a game or 2-3 blocks every other game, whatever you want to do. Chet Holmgren, I'm gonna bank on him for the Thunder. What about you, Dale?
If it's not Caruso, because we've seen it before, it's the final 6 minutes of the fourth quarter, game's tight. He'd be making those steals and like those layups, buckets, and like it'd be the cause of those 6-8-0 runs and all that. But if Caruso doesn't make that impact, I feel like that Tyrese Halliburton takeover just might be slightly too much for OKC. Who knows? So
he doesn't like anybody but Caruso. The Caruso show. I know you're going to say Caruso too, Frankie. So let's go to Indiana. I want to say, I'll start it off. I'll say, I think for Indiana, Miles Turner can, if he really, nuts up in the paint and really makes it difficult down there and starts scoring more than 8 points a game because he's capable, then they could really go crazy. Aaron Nesmith, also another game breaker that doesn't get enough credit, man. That Nesmith had so many threes. So many clutch equalizing situations. So yeah, I'm gonna go with those two dudes. What about you, Jack?
I'm gonna go ahead and say Miles Turner, and the reason for that is because he actually has upped his shooting percentage from 32% to over 40% from 3 in the playoffs. He just turned to Klay Thompson. And when you're a big guy that can dominate the paint and also shoot the 3-ball, that's gonna change your offense completely. Like if you saw in the series against the Knicks, the fact he was able to hit the 3-ball would force people like Karl-Anthony Towns to get out of the paint, so he was able to stretch the floor more, which gave more room for both Pascal Siakam and Tyrese Halliburton to facilitate the offense. And when the OKC Thunder were against like the Timberwolves, they didn't have to worry about Julius Randle hitting the 3-point shot. They were, whenever he'd be outside, like on the wing or outside, you'd see either Isaiah Hartenstein or Chet Holmgren, like they'd back off him. Like they'd let him shoot those shots all day. And that led them to further shut down the driving lane, so Anthony Edwards wasn't able to get the shots he was able to get. That would limit Julius Randle's drives. So if he's able to continue that 3-point production, that's going to force him to draw to the outside. And we saw in the Denver series when people like Nikola Jokic or Michael Porter Jr. were outside in the wing and they were able to hit those shots, it forced those big guys to get on the outside, and then that opened up the paint. And that series went to 7 games. And if a series is able to go to 7 games, anything can happen in that game 7. If someone's got a hot hand, or one of your star players doesn't have it that night, that literally will determine the championship and completely change legacy. So I would say if Miles Turner is able to hit the 3 especially, he's my X factor for Indiana.
100%. But I have a surprise X factor for the Pacers. It's going to be TJ McConnell.
Wow.
You stole mine, dude.
Dude is an absolute hawk. Dude can run the offense just as good as Halliburton. You lose the scoring a little bit, but when he needs it, he can find a shot. He can make a pass. He can steal. He's just an all-around hustle player. And I'm saying this right now, they're going to win the championship. If you get McConnell in the game and he can average, 8 points, 5 assists a game, you allow that to happen, Indiana's winning the title.
Well, shoot, since you stole my pick, I guess I'll make a comparison. You guys remember Jose Alvarado against us in the playoffs when he was ass?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was very annoying.
Lights it up. Yeah, he's something lights it up and very, like you said, very annoying. So once CJ McConnell, like if he lights it up, bro, like he can be a pest too, just like Caruso can. So
You know what's a fun
both
fact
teams,
about TJ?
both teams each have a pest.
His
So
sister just got signed to the Mercury this week.
No way. That's hilarious.
Yep,
And
yep.
he's a wildcat.
Is he?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I did
He
not
might
know
be
that.
back in
Okay.
Arizona because his sister, she got signed to the Mercury. So look for him on the market this summer or by the trade deadline.
Brian
That's fun.
Gregory, do your job.
Right? What's her name? What's his name? What's her name? I don't want to disrespect her by calling her TJ McConnell's sister. Megan McConnell. That's a great name for a celebrity. Megan McConnell. Sounds like an actress or like a musician or something. But yeah, she's gonna be on the Merc, and that's cool. So you got McConnell, the Pacers, the OKC Thunder. This game is a must-win for the Pacers, man, because the OKC Thunder have home court advantage, right?
yeah, you can't
They
give
do.
OKC
Yep.
any.
Yeah,
And
you
I
don't
can
want to go
mention-
back to. You don't want to go back to OKC for a game 7.
Well, you can't give OKC momentum, period, because we've seen all season, especially playoffs, what they can do with momentum. They're unstoppable almost. So
Absolutely. And like I kind of mentioned in my finals preview video, OKC has only lost 3 home games the entire year, including the playoffs. So they are
Jeez.
nearly undefeated. Yeah, game 1. And one of those losses was the Denver in game 1, where they basically stole that at the end, where they messed up by fouling at the very end. And then Aaron Gordon had that
Gordon
crazy.
hit that shot.
Yeah. One of the more underrated stories of the playoffs, too, man. Oh, my gosh. Like, he came
He
out of
went
nowhere.
crazy, man, and he was injured the whole time too.
Yeah. Just that and then dealing with everything. Like, I know his like his brother passed away and everything. Like, just, my gosh. Like, what a story, man. What a guy.
I would love Aaron Gordon. I always beg every offseason. I know it's never going to happen. Suns, please find a way to get Aaron Gordon or somebody that's like him. Please.
Right.
I'd love it if he joined you guys, man. I've got nothing but respect for that, man.
Yeah, he's an awesome dude, man. He's
He
a
is.
beast. Man, so we all think the Thunder will win tonight, or is there anybody that think the Pacers are going to take it?
See, I think this is where, like I said, this is where I say the road team is going to win a game.
Right away?
not this soon. Nah,
I don't think
this
it's going to be game 1. I think the Thunder are going to cover tonight, but I think Indiana wins game 2.
Okay.
For me, I think it's counterproductive to my argument that they're going to win the finals to say that they'll lose tonight. So, in that vein, I have to say the Pacers, because in order for them to take the type of hold on a series with a team that's better than them, we don't really know that. Like, we know it, but we don't know it yet. They have to play. So, tonight will be the litmus test for me. Like, okay, if the Pacers still tonight, then it's freaking on. Because the OKC is going to respond, and then they'll get another game in Indiana. So the series doesn't start till somebody loses at home, but I'm gonna go Pacers tonight.
It just depends how. It just depends how Pacers lose. I mean, if they get blown out, then yeah. But if it's like a nail biter, close and all that, it could be that way. But I think OKC takes game 1. I lean on that, but I feel like Pacers take game 2. So for sure. So
you and Frankie have been on the same wavelength, and I feel like me and Jack have been on the same wavelength today.
Yeah. It's funny because we're literally above.
We're both on it. Oh, that's crazy.
And we're both, and you guys are both.
I love it.
Right.
It's like Hollywood Squares.
I think OKC wins tonight by at least 15 points. I see the series finishing out similar to how the Western Conference Finals was. And with that, I think it'll be somewhat closer to the first half, and OKC pulls away in game 1. I think OKC wins game 2. And then I think going up 2-0 back to Indiana, I think the Pacers blow out OKC in game 3. OKC wins a decently close 6-point game in game 4, and then just ends up taking it in game 5. That's my prediction. The Pacers could pull the upset. I'm not going to completely count them out because they've defied the odds all postseason. But I just think the Thunder have the best roster in the league. And ultimately, I think defense wins championships. They have the best defense in the league. They have the 3rd best offense in the league. And just seeing how that's worked out throughout NBA history, I got to go ahead and say OKC wins this 1 in 5.
Damn.
What's the original spread tonight, Dame? Do you know by chance?
The
if he's saying by 15.
Yeah. Might as well bet that, huh?
Oh, shit, that might be hella plus money, dude.
Let's see what the spread is.
Looks like
I would think like 5.
they're giving it OKC 10 points.
10
Damn.
points right now? Damn.
Sheesh.
So that's like probably a little over plus 200 then.
Yeah, it's 9.5, dude. Money line is minus 450 for the Thunder, and
That's
plus 340.
Garbo.
Dude.
That's Garbo.
They're the biggest underdogs in the NBA Finals since the 04 Pistons. So,
Ooh, I love that. I love that type of history, dude.
Hey, but didn't those 04 Pistons overcome the odds?
they did. They won that series in 5 games. Yeah.
They sure did.
Dominant fashion.
That's crazy, dude. If you were to bet on them to win in 5, you'd probably be a millionaire.
Oh my gosh, yeah. You'd be good. You'd be set for life. You'd be good.
Series winner Pacers is plus 500, man. I might have to do it. Plus,
wait, what?
Pacers in 6.
That's plus 506?
No, it's plus 500 in general.
They win,
Yeah.
Oh.
In
Enticing.
6, bro. I might have to do it. I'm gonna have to waste $5.
The NBA wants it in 7, bro. They want all the money. They want all the cash.
Yeah, that's true. I don't think it's a 7-game series, no matter who wins, though. To be honest, I think one style is gonna overtake the other style, and it'll be over in 6 games.
Indiana definitely needs to prove that they can win 2 in Oklahoma City because that's a very tough environment. And I feel like they can win those 2 games, they win the title. And like I said, I'm taking the Pacers in 7. I think Oklahoma City takes tonight. You have Indiana winning the next 2. And then Oklahoma City will win the next 2. And then Indiana wins the last ones.
Oh. Okay, so you're thinking that OKC goes up 3-2 back to Indiana and they pull off the comeback after being down 3-2.
Yep. Okay, that's crazy. That's extreme, bro.
Yeah, I wasn't going that deep into it. Shit. Props to Frankie, bro. Props to Frankie.
Yeah, I'm gonna say they already have a game at that point because they won tonight, and then that last game in Indiana will be the game 6. Indiana will go into that game up 3-2, and win at home.
Man, imagine them winning in front of that crowd, dude. Oh my god,
it'll be raucous. Reggie Miller out on the court with Tyrese Halliburton and his dad waving a towel with Tyrese Halliburton.
Yup. Oh my gosh, crazy.
Yeah, doing the choke pose.
And talk about that'd be like the most. He'd be up there with Dirk for like most iconic run in NBA history. Like just being able to do all that, having the moments with, like you said, with his dad, him doing the choke sign with Reggie Miller calling the game, and then them knocking out the Thunder. Oh my gosh!
And the Suns would have to eat it because we didn't draft him, and we could have.
The Pistons could have drafted him too, so I feel your guys' pain on
that. Shout out the sticks.
But at least you guys got Cade, bro. You know?
That's true. I do love Cade. I'm so happy we've got Cade.
Yeah.
It's
like that this will be a fun series no matter what because somebody new will win for, first time in a long time.
Yeah, but the first championship for both the teams. I mean, the Thunder did win it as the Sonics back in 1979, but like they don't consider that history as part of their history. So like it'd be completely new. Oklahoma City would be seeing their first championship, or Indiana. And I think both of them have some of the better fan bases throughout the entire league. 100%. So regardless of what happens, like it's gonna be a great outcome. And like you can argue, like I'm guessing if the Pacers would win, I'd assume Halliburton would win Finals MVP. Maybe Siakam if he ends up blowing up because like he won Eastern Conference MVP. But I mean, if Halliburton wins it, I mean, he's on his way to surpassing Reggie Miller one day for the greatest Pacer of all time.
Oh yeah.
And I think if he does win the championship, I think he would be the greatest Thunder just based on that alone because he'd have won MVP like Westbrook and Kevin Durant, but he'd be able to deliver a championship while they weren't able to.
Oh yeah, the person who wins the chip and win the MVP too, he's fine. I think Tyrese Halliburton has so much more to gain, though. If they could pull this off,
I would agree.
Oh my God, Jesus Christ, it would be so huge for his legacy.
Oh my! I
want Indiana to win for Carlisle. Just a good homecoming
story, too, dude. That would be great too.
Respect to him.
Yeah,
what a good coach. Still going.
I mentioned in my previous, like in my finals video, he actually since he was the head coach of the Mavericks in 2011, he'd have arguably the 2 most impressive finals runs in NBA history as a head coach. Like if you're a team and you want any guy as your head coach while being the underdog, you want him. You want Rick Carlisle. He's done it before, and he brought the Pacers back again. I mean, I thought last year was a little bit of a fluke because considering how the Cavs were missing Donovan Mitchell. No, wait, that was against Celtics.
The Knicks.
Yeah. But just like getting across the Knicks when they were injured, I know Anunoby got hurt that series. Mitchell Robinson was getting issues, and then Jalen Brunson got hurt in Game 7. I thought it was a little bit of a fluke, but they've looked even better this postseason. They dominated every single team while they were healthy, and they're back again. So his coaching, they're proving it's not a fluke. And like I said, if you want a guy as your head coach, the underdog, it's him. He's done it before, and they low-key could do it again. I mean, it's not out of the realm of possibility. While I do think OKC wins in 5, if you tell me at the end of the day Indiana beats a fully healthy OKC team, I wouldn't look at you crazy.
One more thing. Another thing that's very intriguing about this finals matchup, it's the Paul George Bowl.
Yeah.
Both squads are deeply rooted and connected to trading Paul George, and it's insane.
Yep. The Paul George trade was the foundation of each team, which is maybe we should get Paul George and trade him. We'll be in the NBA Finals.
Hey, that was rumored, so let's not get that train going.
Hey, yeah. No, I don't want any more Bradley Bills, and he's definitely a Bradley Bill, so.
That's some.
We have other topics lined up today, but I feel comfortable and kind of good with what we did. You guys want to continue going and switch to other topics, or can we finish on a strong basketball note?
Let's just strong it.
I like that.
Cool with that. Yeah, me too.
All right, so if you guys like what you see, please follow us down at the links in the description. There's going to be merch, where to find us on social medias, and also Jack's information as far as his channel goes and his social media as well. Shout your channel out, bro.
Yeah, thank
Jack,
you. What's up?
It's all you. Give your channel.
Yeah, so if you guys want to give me a subscribe, I'll be posting both on TikTok as well as YouTube. I do shorts and videos. Off the Glass with Jack, please just check out some of my videos. If you guys have any video recommendations, feel free to let me know. Like I said, I do all sorts of basketball content. I could do what ifs, historical dives, stats that you wouldn't ever think of. But yeah, just give my channel a shout out, and I'd really appreciate any feedback you guys can provide me. Thank you guys for having me on. I've been looking forward to this for weeks now. Frankie knows, as I've been working with him or just texting him all for the last few weeks. It was great talking with both of you, talking about the NBA Finals. I'd love to be back on again if I'm granted that opportunity. And I'll have to feature you guys out on my show,
for sure.
on my channel. So thank you.
Let's get it.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, it was definitely fun for sure.
Hey, you did amazing, bro.
Thank you. I appreciate you
guys.
Yeah,
you killed it, bro.
Time of my life, man. This is great. I love this. This is what I love doing right here.
Hell yeah, man. You got the voice for it.
Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it.